Every week, in all years, for most weeks, your son or your daughter should bring home a spelling list and learn the spelling list. Sometimes they'll have all of the spelling list set by their English teacher. Sometimes they like to get some extra spellings from other subjects that are particularly applicable to them. If you were to go on to our virtual learning environment, our VLE, and your son or daughter has access to this, you can go into the English department's home learning section and you can look at the spelling section there with lots and lots of different words that we think your children need to learn how to spell. But the spelling list that they get set weekly is very, very important. Every single year we will test them to see what their spelling age is, and we'll let you know that through them. But how do you learn spellings? The age-old method, if you were learning how to spell cat, simple I know, but just for the purpose of this, the age-old method is look, cover, write, check. So they have the word written down in front of them, they cover it, they write it down, and they check it. And thankfully I got that one right. It makes me feel very good about myself. Now, that's all well and good. What I've learned over 31 years of teaching is that some kids are just natural spellers and they will learn that way fairly quickly, but others aren't. I certainly was not a natural speller growing up, and I had to work at learning my spellings. The reason for the different ways of learning, that some people will do it like this and others not, is that we all learn in different ways. These ways are all different ways that we learn, different learning styles. Let me just talk you through them. Interpersonal is where your son or your daughter, and you know them very well, whether they work well with other people. Some kids learn better by actually talking to other kids, and they can learn well together. For some, it doesn't work like that. They need to work alone. They learn better working alone. That will make them an intrapersonal learner, where they're learning inside themselves. Some have a very, very mathematical brain. They think in numbers, and they become mathematical learners. Some are very, very good at music. You know that your son, your daughter might pick music up fairly quickly, might remember lyrics to songs very easily, can easily produce a rhythm, or can easily produce a note or a tune on a certain instrument. Well, they'd be musical learners. Linguistic learners are where they like talking. They'll talk to learn. And physical learners, these are the ones who learn while they are doing. The people that actually learn while making, while moving, or doing something. And you can be a combination of all of these three. Certainly when I was growing up, when I was your children's age, I was very, very much a physical learner. And I've changed. So my learning style has actually changed over the years. And this might happen to your children as well. It might have happened to you. I'm now a mixture of physical and linguistic. Certainly when I was growing up, I used to think in pictures. But now I think in a mixture of words and pictures. And I can learn in both of those different ways. And I am very, very much an interpersonal learner. I like working with other people. So, what is your child? Let's say they are an interpersonal learner. Then if they are, you know they're an interpersonal learner. When they're learning their spellings, it would be really, really helpful if somebody worked with them learning their spellings. Simple as that. If they're an intrapersonal learner, the opposite is true. They need to learn their spellings in privacy, in the quiet of their own room or their own personal space. Mathematical learner, they'll actually work and think of rhythms. So let's think that they are wanting to spell the word rain. You might have them clapping. R-A-I-N, rain. R-A-I-N, rain. And you can actually use rhythms to help them learn. And they'll remember the words, the way the letters fit together within the rhythm, and you can change the rhythm. What I would say about any spelling list that comes home, though, is before they go to start learning, test them on their spelling list. See how many they can get right without having to learn them really, really well. And then the ones that they've got right, take them out and only learn the ones that they're unsure of or a bit wobbly on. Moving on, a musical learner. Well, singing in the rain. They've got to sing it. R-A-I-N, rain, I like the rain. So they sing their words. And they'll always hear those words sung in their head when they go back to do their test or when they write them. Linguistic, talk to them about it. So that's going, if you're a linguistic learner, you're typically going to be an interpersonal learner, but if they're not, they need to talk to themselves. A linguistic learner needs to hear the words spoken back to them, and they can have a conversation with somebody about the words. Did you know that rain was spelt R-A-I-N? How's it spelt? Somebody says it back. So you're actually talking about learning. And physical. There's a number of ways of doing this. If they like making things, well, make the words. I've put a word down here. You can go onto our VLE and you can print off a series of letters that you can stick onto the back of a cornflakes packet and put some blue tack on the back and move them around. Or you can use those fridge magnets or the sticky ones that you get for bath time. Here we are. Spell the word happy. You've got all the letters of the alphabet there and a few more. And they have to move it to learn the spelling. So they're actually doing something. And that physical learning, which is their strength, embeds that memory a lot more. So I've moved the letters to create them. You could do it with a paintbrush, so they actually paint them. You could do it so that if they're very, very physical in terms of dance or PE, they could stomp up the stairs. H-A-P-P-Y. So when they're stomping, they're putting a rhythm in as well, which is a little bit mathematical, I know, but it's movement, it's the physical movement. They could actually clap, or they could dance as they are saying the words. And that makes it stick, and it makes the memory much more memorable. It's all about creating in your brain a hard wiring system that makes the memories more lasting. There's real science behind this. So these are the different ways, but what I want to finish with is it is crucial that your sons and your daughters take spelling seriously. Not just for now, but when they get to do their exams in the future, when they're applying for jobs, or when they're doing their jobs many years ahead.